Hey everyone, and good afternoon. Hope you're having a wonderful day so far. So, as the title implies, how do you recover? How do you go back to being an adult after a holiday? We will be sharing some tips to help you feeling good about getting back to your regular work grind after the holidays. But before we get into the content, just want to introduce myself. My name is Dr. Clueless. I am a real life physician. And you know what? A couple years ago, when we had our daughter, despite all of my medical training, I felt pretty clueless, y'all. And I thought this would be a great opportunity, a great platform to share with other people who might feel clueless about all things parenting, hacks in general, life. I think we could all use a little help from our friends, and that could be me. If this sounds like content that you would enjoy, please consider subscribing, hitting that like button if you are on YouTube or watching this on Facebook, and feel free to follow me on Instagram as well at CluelessMD. So let's get into the content. So, you know what? My daughter, she teaches me a lot about life and how to cope with different things. And when I think about this topic about like, man, why is it so difficult going back to the regular work week, the regular work grind after the holidays? I think about a situation that is difficult for my daughter, but yet she still manages to get through it. And that's when we leave her in the care of someone else besides me or her mom, right? Like she just teaches us a few things that I think can help us when it comes to getting back into the swing of things and adulting again after a holiday. First, I think it's important, just like my daughter does when she is dropped off in someone's care, is to accept the situation at hand. And y'all, when I think about going back to work, I think the first thing that I have to do, and I think is helpful for you to consider, is why don't I want to do this? Why don't I want to go back to work? I think that first step, and we can think of it as a sandwich. First, I'm going to give you that first slice, then the meat, and then we're going to come back to that slice again. So that first slice, I think, is just accepting that yes, we have to adult. And that might be because going back to work, that's how we pay the bills. I think, the fun part of that first piece, though, in accepting that we have to do it, we have to go back to being adults and being responsible after a long break, is that, that could be the way that we get to our next break. That's the encouraging part that we can encourage ourselves with, is accepting, yes, I do have to go back to work. I do have to assume responsibilities, but then that is how we are given the opportunity to go back and do it again and have another holiday and enjoy it. And maybe that might mean spending more money and just being able to, maybe travel. And those things are afforded to us by, of course, going back to work. So it's just, acknowledging how you feel, not being in denial or rejecting how you feel about I have to go back to being an adult, I have to go back to working. No, it's embracing it, it's accepting it, and then I think we're able to move on. And what we're going to move on to is the first practical, real tangible thing that I want you to think about as you go back into your work week is I want you to distract yourself with something that you like on the job. And I think about this again when I drop off our toddler daughter into someone else's care. I find that it's easier for her to kind of like just accept that she's there and kind of move on and even enjoy herself when she can find something. Maybe it's a toy that she can latch on to, an activity that's fun for her, and it kind of like distracts her from the pain of that, we just dropped her off. So that second thing that I would encourage you to do is when you get to work, just think about something. How like they say every job has something that people hate. Maybe the opposite is also true. Even if for the most part you hate your job, there might be this ounce of something that just when you're on your job is just like a piece of like comfort pie, something cooler for a little bit, or just treating to something at the cafe, just something that can just be some respite, some reprieve from the rest of the job that you don't really like. Just treat yourself to that, especially on that first day that you go back. Treat Then the next thing in terms of treating, first we treated ourselves. Then the next thing is I want you to treat your boss, right? I know this is tough because your boss might be the very thing about your job that you don't like. But instead of having like 10 million things that you're thinking of that might give you anxiety about going back to work, I just want you to think of one thing. I just want you to think of a one way that you feel like it would be like treating your boss to something. And it could be something really simple. Like, I can treat my boss this week by showing up to work on time, right? Like something that is realistic, that is achievable. And, I don't even think it has to be more than one thing to aim for the entire week, because that I think is more attainable and maybe easier to accept as a goal than if I said, hey, go for 5 things to treat your boss to. Just one thing that is maybe a demonstration of that you will be productive for the week. Something that is just treating your boss in a way of just being productive and something tangible that you can say, hey, I'm going to go into it accepting that I have to do this, but, remembering that this is how I get more holidays. Number 2, treating myself. And then the other part of the meat is, how do I treat my boss, but not doing like 10 million things, because that's the thing about work, right? Is like, I could have left that piece out, that piece about treating your boss to something, but we are there to work and we are there to some extent to please our supervisor. So, hey, let's just accept that that's going to come, by nature. We're not going into work because it's vacation. We're going in there to work. Let's just pick one thing that will be an example of our productivity, something that we know that will mean something to the job. Um, and then finally, because it's a sandwich, we're going to come back to the last slice. We did the first slice, we did the meat in the middle, that's treating ourselves and treating our boss. And then the last part is just coming back and acknowledging it and reminding ourselves, especially when times get tough, that we're doing this in order as a way to be able to earn back the opportunity to go on holiday again. And I think if you follow that sandwich strategy, that I'm actually taking as an example from how I just see my daughter get through difficult situation. I feel like that will help us get through and hopefully crush that first week back from a holiday. And it's wonderful because I feel like your our reluctance to go back to work and adult again is in proportion to how great our holiday must have been. And so even just being on YouTube, just trying to build this platform, I hope in a way will be an opportunity for my work to eventually be what I love to do, which is this and spending more time with our family. So hopefully that end goal will be for a lot of us, if not for all of us, to build something where we won't have to have that huge gap between what we love to do and work. Maybe, hopefully, that saying will be true for all of us, that love what you do and you'll never work a day in your life. That will be hopefully our long-term goal, is getting to that point where what we do when we come off from holiday, hey, it's okay because we love what we do. But for those of us who may not be there yet, hopefully this sandwich technique and in adulting after getting back from the holidays will tide us over in the meantime. So I hope that helps. I hope that you have an awesome week back. For many of us in the US, we're getting over that Thanksgiving holiday. And hey, we're just looking forward to that next holiday up ahead in a few weeks. So take care, enjoy, may God bless you, and have an awesome and hopefully less clueless week ahead. Take care. Bye bye.